Come for the bread, stay for the politics. I'm Ben Walsh, and this is Let Them Eat Bread. Welcome back to Let Them Eat Bread. It has been seemingly a long time since we've had an episode, but we are back, episode 40. And today, because it is the last evening of Passover, we are going to make matzah. By the way, for everyone celebrating Passover, belated Easter, and Ramadan, I hope you're enjoying your holidays or enjoyed your holidays. This convergence of Abrahamic religions apparently hasn't happened in a very long time. So cool to be living through some of that. Very excited. Hope everyone who celebrates one of those holidays or some other holiday that I didn't mention is having a great holiday season. So we are making matzah just on the tail end of Passover here, which will end tomorrow at sundown, Saturday night at sundown. And because of the rules around kosher matzah, we can only take 18 minutes from the second the water hits the flour all the way to the end. So I have a timer, just like I did last year. Don't worry, you will not have to watch me for 18 minutes. I will cut this up and make this shorter, but I will be doing it with an actual timer, making sure that I have kosher for Passover matzah to make for you. And because everything needs to be done so quickly, we have all of our tools in front of us that we're going to need. So we're going to go through those real quickly. And then once we are totally ready to get going and everything is mise en place, we are going to start our matzah recipe. After we make our matzah, we're going to have two quick stories. One, of course, which is going to be the special segment, which does not go up to YouTube separately, and then one story that will go up separately to YouTube this week. All right, let's start prepping. So first of all, we have a cup of all-purpose flour. If you can get kosher Passover flour, feel free to use it. It is obviously makes it more kosher, but regular flour is fine. Also, we have half a cup of water here. Now, apparently you only need about a third of a cup to half a cup, so you might not use all of it, but good to have the upper limit just in case you do. You do not have time to get more ingredients if you need them. On the side here, we have a little bit of extra flour. We're going to be using this to flour our board and flour our rolling pin. You will need some type of rolling pin or flattening item since we will need to make this very flat. Fun fact, by the way, that I got from a friend of mine who is a cantor. Thank you, Leanna. The super flat, super crispy matzah is actually an invention of the Industrial Revolution. Before that, when matzah was made by hand, it was much less uniform. So we are going to try and get it to a uniform shape today. Just using kind of the basic kitchen tools. And to help us achieve that, we are going to use a pizza cutter. This will hopefully help us get our rectangular shapes as much as we want them. And of course, I have a fork for stirring, an additional fork for poking holes through the matzah. Behind me, my oven has a large tray in it. The tray is sitting, the tray I just took the temperature of is about 520 degrees. My oven is set to high broil, okay? I'm getting my oven as hot as I possibly can for the very short amount of time that matzah cooks for. We are looking for 2 minutes each side for our matzah to cook. So we're going to try and time this whole thing out so that by the time the matzah goes in the oven, we have 5 minutes left on our timer, okay? And so I'm going to bring up our timer right now. And I'm going to mute myself so you don't hear all the noise I'm making, but I'm going to set our timer and you will get to watch with me this timer. And I have to say, I'm very nervous. Last year, we cut it super close. Also, because your oven's very hot, make sure you have an oven mitt or some other kind of protective clothing so you're not reaching in an incredibly hot oven. Oh, all right, we can do this. We can do this. We can do this. All right, so I'm moving my over here, and so we're going to add our water a little bit at a time. But remember, the second the water hits the flour, you have 18 minutes, okay? So we really need to make sure that we get this done in the right amount of time. Oh, deep breath. All right, you ready? Let's do this. First, we are combining our water with our flour, little bits of water at a time, and just stirring vigorously. We're adding water until all the flour comes together into one ball. Next up, we are putting on our board and kneading for about 30 seconds. Now, I actually do this for longer than I should, but that is okay. Next up, we are going to push this down and make it as flat as we possibly can, flouring our work surface and our rolling pin. And with our hands, we're going to start the process, and then we're going to roll this out as much as we possibly can. And we're trying to make this at least 1/8 of an inch thick, but don't spend a ton of time on it because you really need that time in the oven, especially if you're cooking at a conventional oven that you have at home. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to cut these into 4 rectangles-ish. I'm using a pizza cutter to make it easier. And then we are going to stab this as many times, each of them as many times on both sides with a fork. This prevents rising and gives matzah that kind of holy texture that we're all used to. So just keep stabbing, you'll be great. Next up, we're going to get the last little bits of flour off of our pieces of matzah, and then we are going to take our tray, which has been preheating, out of the oven, and we are going to somewhat carefully, but not really carefully, put our matzah on it before throwing it back in the oven. All right. Next up, we are going to put it, so in the oven, it's going to cook for 2 minutes on each side, and you just keep repeating this process till you run at a time. And then, ta-da! Boom, 7 seconds, cut it right on the margins. That was close, Ben. You did a great job this year. Let's see how it looks and tastes. It's looking pretty good right now. Let's see how it tastes. All right, so we cut it really close. I wanted to keep these in as long as possible, get as much of a crust on them as possible. I'm just going to show the camera. So this one here didn't get as crispy. This one was in for 2 minutes shorter than the others. I didn't think I could get it on the tray, but this one was in for the longest time. And look at the color on that. Isn't that beautiful? Can I even touch this? Yeah, I can touch it. Wow, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? So this is it. This is much more like real matzah than we made last year. And the thing is, if you have extra time, you really should dedicate that time to the oven, right? Because we're working with kind of your typical home oven. And I had it on broil because that's the hottest I could get it, because it's a gas stove. It does the whole oven. But when matzah is being made professionally, it's being made in kind of like pizza ovens. It's way, way hotter. We're looking like 900 degrees, okay? So if you have a pizza oven, actually, you can do that in there. But I think they turned out really well, actually. Let me, I'll see. Lauren will be proud of me for tasting something on the show. Yeah. That's definitely matzah. Wow. That's awesome. Thanks for watching this video, guys. If you liked it, throw a like on it, share with your friends, and subscribe for more of our content. You can also find all of our videos and clips on youtube.com. Just search Let Them Eat Bread and you'll find all of our content. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye for now.